Alright everyone, hello and welcome back to the channel. Alright, now here's a video that I came across earlier today that I found interesting, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I truly want your thoughts on this one here. Now the video deals with a frauditor who calls himself Denver Metro Audits, aka Christopher Cordova. Now in this video here, Christopher is claiming victory over a DMV that he has been harassing for quite some time now. Now again, the reason I found this video interesting is if you watch my latest video that I uploaded in reference to the two frauditors who got arrested over their stupidity, then you will remember that in the first video there it was in reference to suspicious activity. And as I commented in that video, and I will comment again, that in my opinion officers have a hard time of applying the law because these frauditors have learned how to twist things around to work to their narrative. And I want to again state that in no way am I trying to go against the American citizen, but I think we could all agree that we have put officers in that category there to keep us safe from the sick maniacs that we are all well aware of that we have in this world. There are truly some sick people out here. And if it wasn't for police, God, there are people out there that are not confrontational, and they would be victims the very moment they came across one of those sick maniacs. Now, again, I say in this video here, I will point out a couple of things that I truly feel that the officers are, they themselves, they admit that they can really not do a damn thing about it. They want to, but they can't do a damn thing about it. Now, Christopher had the audacity of putting charges on a security guard that works at that particular DMV. And I found that very funny because, as we are all well aware, frauditors always state that the job of a security guard is to observe and report. And guys, after you watch this video, I think we will all agree that that's exactly what the security guard was doing. Now, regardless, Christopher turns around and says that the guard, by following him and keeping an eye on him while he was in there recording, that he was being harassed. And apparently that must be have some truth to it, because damn it, the police made a report. Now on I don't think it'll go anywhere, but it's the ideal that he got to make a report, and the officers they went through the paperwork. So I don't know, sometimes I say this justice system works ass backwards. Now you will also notice in the video a sergeant that unfortunately has to tell the people that operate that DMV that he would love to kick Christopher out of there. He admits that Christopher is an asshole, and this is something that he does for a living. But unfortunately, again I say, the way the laws are applied, his hands are tied behind his back. And that's where I want your thoughts on, guys. Let's jump into the video. It'll better explain itself as we go.
So we'll go ahead and we'll go talk to him and see what's going on. I'm sure the First Amendment auditor is just trying to get some money.
Yeah, not when you're recording it. Oh, officers, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How's it going? You, Chris? How's it going?
Yes, this is Chris.
Okay.
He's refusing to stop filming in front of counters, recording people's personal information at the counters.
Okay. Can we go talk back here?
Sarah, you okay with that?
And if you want to go ahead and grab your manager or whoever's in charge.
Absolutely.
Hey, I think you were here last time we had to deal with this.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. So again, what is he doing that's
He
illegal?
was right up in our counter, and we're having trouble.
We went. That's a sign.
Right.
But we went through that last time.
I'm not
That's
gonna talk to
not.
him. He is not even. Okay, go ahead and lower the chair.
It's a government building. He has a right to be here.
He
It's
was also starting to harass the manager.
Our
you know, cussing at her
administration
stuff,
told
which is
me
against
to
the
call
policy.
okay.
And we would
Well, if you would
definitely
like to go ahead and okay, well, he's not harassing. He's up in front videoing. The same thing is they can come up to us and start videoing us.
Him cussing.
All right, so let me just pause the video here and comment quickly on this officer here. Whereas we notice the employees here at the DMV are not happy with this particular officer. We noticed that the first thing that came out of the officer's mouth was that Christopher is not breaking the law. He is recording. It's a government building, and he has every right to do so. Now, keep in mind, we will come to find out that this will be, I think it's the second or the third time that officer has, not in the same day, but has been called to that location in reference to Christopher recording there. Now, you have people, okay, regardless that they're a government agency, if you want to say that, contractor, okay, but you have people that have called the police for services. Understandable that the officers' hands are tied, illegally tied behind their backs, that they just can't go in there and say, Christopher, you got to get out, unless they have something to stand on. But I think he could have been, I don't know, the way he went about telling these people that he could not really do a damn thing about Christopher, I don't know. I think it could have been said a little better than that. We're talking about people that are operating a business that pays a nice chunk of money in taxes that goes to fund that police station. Okay, well, the police station that he works out of. Now, again, I say, I'm not looking for police to cater to certain people because they pay taxes or pay more taxes than others. But I just, in my opinion, as we go further in the video, you will notice that this officer, in my opinion, was kissing Christopher's ass. But let's get back to the video.
Other staff here is
Freedom of speech.
Christopher,
People can cuss. We get yelled
camera
at all day long. We
two.
get yelled at F words all the time. Fuck the police all the time. So unfortunately, he can do that. If he's going to start a fight or something like that, then we can remove him. Someone starts fighting with him, that's another thing. But we've been through this before. It's the same result as the last 2 times. They can be here. They can feel it's government.
Can we talk to someone else?
Yeah, my sergeant's on the way.
Thank
The
you.
sergeant that came here last time that explained the same thing. I know you're frustrated, but
You're just not very nice ever. You're just very abrasive and you're attacking me every time you come
last
in
time I
here.
came here, I was very nice to you, and we had a good conversation, and we talked to
Cass,
the person on
Cass,
the
can you come listen to this?
phone. Sure. Last time we did this, we had the same conversation.
I
with
know,
the
but
people
I
that
just
was
really
on
want to talk to someone else. The first thing you did was, we were here before, you're very abrasive to me, and
I was here before.
was following my direction,
I was
my
saying I spoke with you
executives,
before.
and I was asked to call you.
Okay, and I'm fine with that. I was explaining why we
And
are
I'm
doing what we're doing.
explaining to you why. They're supposed to be 12 feet apart, and look what he's doing right now. He's at the camera, right here, right in front of me. That's why I waited for you.
Okay.
And you agree within 30 days.
He can be there with the camera. Unfortunately, it's the state's responsibility to protect
Okay,
people's
sir,
rights.
and
Same thing
you
as if
still
they
have
come
law.
to a patrol vehicle and they're looking through our windows and we have our...
Can I get all
Like I
three
said,
of your cards?
Of course, my sergeant's on the way down too.
Can I get all your cards?
Yes, I will make sure you get a card. Okay? So it's the same thing. They can come to our patrol car windows. They can film the inside of our windows. It's our responsibility to protect the screens and keep the NCIC data and all of that from being breached. And that's
So how do you protect people's information?
you cover your screens, screen protectors. He's not filming the
Okay,
inside of the
and
screen.
right index finger over here.
Okay, so when people have their birth certificate in their
Can you
hand,
raise it?
how are we supposed to protect that other than
It has to
confiscating?
reset. It was moving around too
Are you
much.
Just out of curiosity.
Are you taking their birth certificate from
Let it
them?
reset.
Not all the ways.
Okay,
Once we give it back, we
If
need
it's not in your possession, it's not your responsibility.
We're still responsible for
No, you're not.
personal information right now.
No, if they're holding their
It has to
stuff,
be on the box.
when you have their stuff and you have it on your computer, yes, you are. You're responsible for that.
So a
Your
registered
data on
sex
here.
offender can come in and
We're gonna do
record
it one more
kids and
time.
stuff?
A registered sex offender can come to a public building
And record
and
children?
record, yes, and record everyone in the room in a public area, yes. Also, we didn't find the
you're
hit for
okay
the
with it?
registered sex offender.
You're okay with it?
No.
All right, so let me just jump back in here and comment quickly on this young lady calling Christopher a registered sex offender. And not to defend this POS, because I truly despise him. And I mean, I truly despise him. Now, I've done my own criminal search history on Christopher, and if you only put Christopher Cordova, you will notice that 49 I think it was, Christopher Cordovas will pop up in Denver, Colorado. Now, mind you, you gotta add the J for John. Christopher John Cordova, and all his history will pop up. What I saw was his arrest in the Social Security Administration building, as well well as a DUI and a handful of driving with suspended license. Now, there was nothing there in reference to sex offender, and I just, as much as I despise him, I just don't think it's right, you know? I mean, that accusation of calling someone a sex offender is truly a serious accusation. So, again, I left his name there. I blacked out his address, so anybody that wants to run their own search and see all the arrests on your own, go right ahead. And I left the friends and family names there that, like I said, 49 Christopher Cordovers, and you could use the family name and friend's name as a reference to the right Cordova. Let's get back to the video.
But I enforce the laws, and that's what we deal with. No. But that's what we enforce is the laws. You can get frustrated at me all you want, but I can only enforce the laws that are in effect. Okay? I can't make stuff up. I can't deal with stuff. What? Where's the statute?
He hasn't given it to me.
Where's the statute?
He hasn't given me the card.
You want a card? Fine, I'll give you a card right now. There you go. It's not going to solve anything. I'm trying to be reasonable here and let you know where I'm coming
Well, every
from.
time we deal with you, it's like there's always an attitude.
And smile if you
No,
want.
I'm just trying to
I'm
tell
sorry
you
you're
what's going
tired.
on.
I'm sorry you have to work.
Again, now you're
know.
attacking me personally, and all I'm explaining is what the laws state.
But every time we have to deal with you, there's always an attitude.
Every time I come in here, there's an attitude with you guys. Like, you want me to do something that I can't do anything about.
Makes sense.
And last time I was here, I dealt with the other call for service, and I actually made sure the warrant went through for that so that it was solved. So I don't know why you guys are mad at me, because I'm doing what I
So
can.
just out of, since I wasn't here when that happened, what circumstances are different that would warrant you doing that time? But not this
So
time?
on one of them, one of the staff members was pushed, so we were able to do harassment on that one. But that was the first time. The second time there was no pushing, no striking, shoving.
So-
it was something in here. It's a First Amendment auditor or First Amendment frauditor is what we like to call them, because they're trying to get money from the state for nothing.
Yeah. So when people are customers, we're allowed to escort them out. We're allowed to call you guys and have them removed from the building. What's different in this case?
Who escorted them out? Because if they're going to start a fight with you, and they're making physical threats, that's something we can deal with.
So when a business says that there's
The difference is this is a government building.
it's not.
It is.
It's
No, it's
privately
a
owned.
government building.
It's a privately owned.
It's a privately owned building run by a government agency, so the public has to have access to it. We went through the same thing last time as well. That was the argument is it's a private building, but it's a government-run agency. They have to be able to come in here and conduct business that's required by the state,
So
even if they're
so
not
do you-
actually
do you-
conducting that business.
Since I don't know this, do you know the law of people refusing to be recorded by other people? So because a lot of our customers here have also refused to be recorded by because they feel incredibly uncomfortable with it.
And it's a public area, same thing. It's a public building. If they want to leave the building, they can come back at a later time. But it's the same thing as filming in a public mall. You can walk around in the mall, even if they say I don't want you recording, you can film in a public mall. I know, it's frustrating.
Is your supervisor on his way?
Yep, he's on his way. He's on his way. It'll take him a few minutes to get
Possibly
down.
have an ETA?
Whenever I don't. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Hey, do you mind if I just step away from over there? Hey, I'm just trying to figure, are we just doing like a First Amendment audit? What are we trying to do here?
I was here just to get my new driver's license.
Okay, that's all I was asking. I'm in the works of talking with them. You know you can be here and film me, right?
Yep, absolutely.
You know your rights. So we're just going to hang out here. They want to talk to my supervisor.
Okay.
We're just going to hang out here.
Right. Yeah, he's trying to tell me that I'm in violation of the law. Well, I know the policy is for 12 feet from the counter, so I understand their policy, but it's not a law. So.
All right, so let me stop the video here and comment, because this is one of the reasons that I wanted to share this video, so that I can get your input on this subject here. Now, we all just heard Christopher state that he is familiar with that DMV's policy on no recording within 12 feet of the counter. We've also heard the police tell the DMV that it's on them. It's their responsibility to create the privacy of protecting people's personal information. Now, damn it, can we all agree on that the DMV making that policy of no recording within 12 feet of the counter, in my opinion, that's their effort of trying to create a privacy. to protect people's personal information. Nobody's telling Christopher that he cannot record in the lobby area or other certain areas of the DMV. They're telling him there's no recording at the counter, where specifically people are exchanging personal information. And what makes it even worse is that, damn it, this is why I made that comment that, in my opinion, I felt this officer was kissing Christopher's ass. Because he doesn't, after Christopher throwing it out there, okay, that he's aware that that DMV has a policy of no recording within 12 feet of the counter, okay, I personally would have said, hey, listen, yes, understandable that it's a policy, it's not a law, but then they have the right to kick you out. If you're telling me that you're going to come, and you will hear Christopher mention at the very end, he's going to tell the sergeant, I'm coming back again to this DMV, and I'm going to record at the counter, knowing that there's a policy in effect of no recording within 12 feet of the counter. Okay? So this officer, in my opinion, instead of telling Christopher, they have the right to kick you out if you break that policy, okay? No. He just, I don't know. I just say, in my opinion, this officer was not on his game. And it just brings back memories of when Christopher held the library hostage for 2 hours after the damn library calling 911, and 2 hours go by and nobody from the police department showed up. Let me tell you, I honestly have my own hard-on with Colorado police, okay? But it is what it is. But again, I say I want your guys' input on this one here, because, again, you know, Christopher again admitted that he knows the policy, 12 feet within the counter, there's no recording. But here he is mentioning that he's going to go back there again and record specifically at the counter. Cops are full of shit. DMV is pretty much stuck with Christopher. Let me know your thoughts on this one, guys, but let's get back to the video.
I just wanted to document my own interaction, my own personal information, not other people's. So
Okay.
what he was trying to say is that, yeah, I'm committing a crime and this and that. So actually, he was committing a crime because he's in violation of harassment, CRS 18-8-111, following someone around in a public place with the intent to alarm or annoy.
Okay.
So he repeatedly followed me around this entire building.
Okay.
So actually, he's the only one that's broken the law today.
Okay. All right. Well, like I was just explaining where we're at and what we're doing. I just didn't want to leave you out of the loop to feel like I wasn't talking to you
I
and
appreciate
explaining.
it.
All right.
Can I get your business card?
Yep. Sure. Of course. There you are, sir.
Thank you. So they told you the same thing that I told you, right?
I'm not talking. I'll talk to you when you quit recording, okay?
This is a
Gotcha.
public building. Professionals in this guy. You tried to say this. I thought you said you could kick me out for any reason and refuse service, right?
We can definitely refuse service. We don't have to help you.
Yeah. Don't engage in not anything. I'll leave if you don't.
You can't refuse me because this is a public building that you have to serve me. Everyone thinks I'm doing something wrong because they're taking the lead of this guy. You know, he's a security guard. He's got a gun on his hip. Right? He's got a badge. So if he would have just been cool and cordial to me, everyone else would have been cool and cordial, right? But they stir the pot. They create this. And they want to call the police on me.
If you want to go ahead and step back here, I'm sure the other lady, Diane, and this lady back there would like to hear what you have to say.
Alright. I hate this answer.
I know, I do too. It's like I was explaining to him. It's frustrating. If you want to go.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
This guy's being a jackass, huh?
Well, that's fine, but every time he shows
Oh my
up,
God.
there's always an attitude.
He came in, he walks back, he asked Dominic, he goes, we did this before, why are we here again? And I'm like, oh my God, my executives told me to call you. Why are you here right now? I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm already getting attacked from him, and I need that from a police officer first thing. That's ridiculous. And I know he's frustrated, he's mad at us, whatever, but
I think he's frustrated at that guy because there's
Don't
just
take it
so
out on me,
limited
though.
what we can do with that guy
I
being such a
understand
jackass
that.
that
But
he's
you
being.
came in, you said hello. I mean, I'm like,
And he literally told me, every time I deal with you guys, there's an attitude. I go, whoa, every time I've dealt with you, there's an attitude from you first. I'm very
Did
pleasant,
they ever
very
resolve
nice.
the case?
They're looking for him.
Okay, they put a warrant out for his
Yeah.
arrest.
But every time I have to deal with him, It's an attitude.
Okay.
I worked in law enforcement. You don't treat people that way. If you want respect, you give respect, you get it back. But yet he comes in, oh.
I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting attacked from you just like I did the last time. He walks up to my counter and what are you doing? And Demonte goes, oh my God, why is he a policeman? It's like, I'm like, what are you doing here? Don't come here. I'm like, please don't come here anymore then if you have a hard time with us. I called you for help.
So what are we gonna do with Chris Cordova?
I don't know. Our executive said to call you.
Okay.
Because he
We
was
don't
right.
want him here. That's the end goal. We don't want him here.
And I get that. And it's
I know.
love-
At the very
I
least,
would-
we don't want him recording customers because they're getting very disturbed by it. Because they're very uncomfortable.
So he's a
There's children.
pedophile. If I go out there to parents right now and go, do you want this pedophile filming you? If I was in the public, that's what I would be doing right now.
All right, so let me just jump back in here and comment on Christopher. And I hate defending this POS, but as far as we can tell, he is not a registered sex offender. Now, he has made comments that this lady needs to resign because of the comments that she made in reference to him being a sex offender. Now, as we all know, that accusation is a very serious one. And don't know if he's going to go after her job, but as we all know, these frauditors have nothing better to do but disrupt people's lives, especially if they work for the public. Let's get back to the video.
He's not a sex offender, but
What is he,
Yeah,
Cass?
he hasn't been caught.
He has a thing with the courts where he's been
got
5 counts
okay.
on a child.
That just doesn't make
And I have it pulled up too.
Okay. Well, there's nothing on our system showing he doesn't have to be a registered sex offender, so I don't know
But anyway,
how accurate that information is.
what
What does he want? Like he just
we-
wants to
Just
cause
wants
a
to ruin
problem.
everyone's day.
And that's fine. I pulled him up. Take it. My team's very uncomfortable. I pulled him up to issue. He's going at him, abusing him. I'm fine with that. But when I call the police, it's like, if he would have just come in and said, what would you like us to do? What are we supposed to do? I mean, just, geez Louise.
As far as Chris Cordova,
So the issue, our executives are saying they have that 12-foot rule and he's not abiding by this. So I called them because I said, what do you want me to do? I don't want to call you guys if I don't need to.
Right.
If they say, Diane, get pummeled, let him come up, but they're saying no. So what do you want us to do?
I mean, unfortunately, it sounds like our hands are tied and your hands are tied.
But my administration is saying to call. Do you want to talk to Rob? He used to be a sheriff. He's the one that told me to call you.
I mean, I'd be happy to tell him exactly. Unfortunately, I want to kick this guy out. I really do. I can't.
I
Well,
get
if you do a
it.
fire drill and then he refuses to leave. I'll go pull the fire alarm right now.
I'll go
And
straight
I get
real
it.
quick.
Unfortunately, recording. I mean, I'm recording now, right now, because of the legislature, right? But he's just looking. I have a feeling he's trying to egg you on or us on to kick him
Right.
out so he can sue us.
Agreed,
It's
but
the fucking game these guys play.
I know. I just don't know what to do. What do you? If your cop would have said, "What do you want us to do?" I'm like, my executive said to call you. That's
Yeah.
really what I'm telling you. But that cop, oh my
Yeah,
God.
we don't want him here anymore.
Demonte goes, he walked up to the same time last time. What am I supposed to do? It's like, and he just went at me. I'm like, oh my God, you just
No.
walked in the door.
I'll run this by my legal advisor
Ron.
again. So I think I
Hey,
did that 6
so
months
I
ago,
have
but I
a-
can't remember.
Are you Lieutenant?
Sergeant.
Sergeant here. Do you want to talk to him?
Okay, I have no details about what's going on.
Yeah, Rob, my name's Jeff Larson. I'm with the Lakewood Police. I'm unfortunately, I'm struggling with, what I want to do is kick this guy out. So basically what's happened, it's one of these First Amendment auditors. He's
Right.
come in here, he's being a jackass, just like they are. And he's, yeah, exactly. It's his purpose to disrupt, but he's recording customers. He's not, his camera's facing away from the teller line towards the customers.
No.
Now it is.
It
At
started
this
with
point.
with the discs.
So, and obviously he's recording us. I think he's trying to egg your folks here and us to kick him out, to sue us. This is just, it's very methodical and manipulative. I'll tell you, I want to kick this guy out. I really wish I could. I can't because it's a semi-public, semi-government, semi-government place. You know, if he does disorderly conduct or something like that, shoves somebody, hallelujah. If I can find some other crime other than trespassing, I can do something about it. But unfortunately, based on what I'm seeing right now and what I'm hearing, I don't think I have something I can take enforcement action on.
We're under federal law to protect people's personally identifiable information. We cannot have him through video or through audio over here and record people's transactions. So that's why we set the 12-foot limit. We are entitled under the First Amendment, just as he is entitled to record, we are entitled to designate time, place, and manner for which he can record in order to protect the PII. So that's our main concern. It's not just him being a jackass. We deal with jackasses all day.
True.
Yes, we do.
But if he is in a position to record other people's information, then that's covered by federal law. And if he insists on being up by the counters or close to people where he can potentially record their operations, I'm not there, so I can't really see what he's doing. But if he's doing that, then he's disrupting our operation, and you can throw him out.
I'd have to run it by our legal advisor.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that takes time.
Right.
You know?
We've got opinions from the Attorney General's office that state exactly what I'm telling you.
Okay.
And Diane has access to those opinions and some of the handouts that we've created because this isn't our first rodeo.
Right. I mean, I think we dealt with it 6 months ago. Was that about 6 months ago? And we were kind of at the same standstill. Now, this guy's obviously a little more persistent and
Right.
Well, yeah, because
than the last guy.
By creating a disturbance that he posts online, and he gets income from that. So he's trying to disrupt and create as much of a ruckus. If he stays a reasonable distance away from people, and our Attorney General has indicated that's 12 feet, then he can stay and film all day long. We don't care.
Exactly.
We just can't have him getting close enough to people where he's recording their transactions.
And I agree with that. But the last time, and I'm pretty sure I ran this by our legal advisor who recommended us to not take any action 6 months ago in this very similar situation, because it violated kind of your policies and your rules, but didn't violate a law.
Well, it violates the federal law if you get close enough to record PII.
Yeah.
And Diane has a copy of that federal law if you need to reference it in your report.
Yeah, but you got to understand where I'm at as far as the supervisor. My legal advisor's pretty much telling us to not do anything and write it up.
Well, that's safe.
So unfortunately, that's what I'm leaning towards doing today. It's just documenting it and talking to our legal advisor.
So at what point can you take some action if his actions disrupt our operations? We're going to have, if he gets close enough and insists on getting close enough to where he can record people's transactions, then we can't issue documents and we have to close.
Okay.
Because he's disrupting our operation. At some point in time, that's unlawful conduct on public property or something that you can take some action.
I'm looking for any disorderly conduct, any little thing that I could use to get him out of there, and especially what I'm seeing right now. Obviously, I didn't catch up on what happened before I got here. Yeah. His camera's facing away from the counters. He's talking to customers, kind of heckling customers, but keeping a proper distance from them. He's not trying to get identifying information. He's just trying to be a jackass.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's very good at that.
And he is. So, we know who he is thanks to your folks here. And and obviously he's on our cameras as well, our body cameras. But you know, unfortunately,
cameras that are operating there too. So at some point, we've got the whole thing under video. We don't have audio on our cameras.
okay. Well, you know, I'll run it by just in case my commander's got a little bit of fresher memory about this than I do. But you know,
Who's your commander?
but my hands are tied.
Who's your commander?
Schmachtenberger, Commander Schmachtenberger. So.
Okay. So that becomes the crux of our problem is if he gets close enough to record people's information with audio or video, then we can't issue, and he's disrupting our operation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the key.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll make sure that we run that specific phrase by our legal advisor, but. I hate to say it, I got to walk away from this without doing anything unless something more aggravating happens.
Well, at what point because the last time this happened in Parker, we had customers calling the police because he was being a jackass toward them.
Well,
it was the same guy. So, I mean, at what point can you take action on that with us not being the complainant but a customer?
And I agree with that, but it's just not illegal to record people. I have these guys do this to me all day, every day. Sometimes they follow me around doing it all day, every day. And it's not illegal to record people. Now, obviously, transactions and stuff like that, especially if that's his intent, okay, that's a separate issue. But Joe Public, if they were to call right now just because he's recording them, it's not a violation of the law, you know?
At what point does it carry over into harassment when he's disrupting their ability to get a document?
Harassment would have to be some physical contact, following them around in public. Like if a customer were walking across the store and he's following them and they told him to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, the harassment, what the statute, the state statute for harassment is different than what we commonly use in our vernacular about harassment. It really is. It's physical contact with no pain.
Now, Jeffrey, I've got 28 years with Jeffco, so I kind of understand that.
Okay.
And these people know the law too.
Yeah.
They're very familiar with the law, so they're right on the edge all the time.
I know.
It's hard for you. I understand.
Can I give him this document so that obviously he's a little more knowing?
It's an email. No, it's an email. It has. I gave him the email from Pam that has the First Amendment in it. But Pam said she doesn't want that going out. Is that right, Rob?
I don't know what email you're talking about, Diane.
With the First Amendment on it. It talks about time during normal hours, placed 12 feet away from intake stations, may not disrupt normal business operations, and then it has the Constitution of the United States First Amendment in it.
Well, is it the document that talks about the First Amendment rights and what all we can do and what the Attorney General's office says and all that?
No.
Okay, so we sent this out in October of 22 to all the DLOs as to what we can give them and pass out.
Yes, I have that.
Okay,
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to the police officer.
all right.
Do you mind printing out 2 copies and we'll give this jackass one?
Call me a jackass.
No.
I'm kidding. Jeffrey, I appreciate you being there and doing what you can. Again, our crux of the matter is the recording of personally identifiable information, which is contrary to federal law. Mm-hmm. So that's what we are trying to prevent. We can't prevent him from being a jackass or harassing the customer. We have to draw the line when we think he's close enough to record our transactions with other people.
Well, Rob, what's your phone number? Because I'd be happy to follow up with you and Diane.
Please do.
Okay. And Diane, what's a good phone number for you?
it doesn't bother me he's here.
Yeah, it always bothers me.
It really doesn't. I feel bad for our customers.
I do too, absolutely. The regular
Our
folks.
concept is to try and kill them with kindness and just give them whatever they want, as long as they don't step over that line.
God, wouldn't I just love it if he's here for a license, just move him to the front line and get the
I
hell
did.
out of
I
here.
did.
We
It's
already
like,
issued
I
him.
did that.
Did exactly.
I
being
did
a
that.
jerk.
I did that.
Victor 120, what's the CR for DMV?
It was done before y'all got here.
That's why I waited to take
He's
his
got 2
picture.
protection orders, so there's plenty of people out there that don't like him.
Oh, I know there are. Are you good with Rob?
Yeah.
Rob, is there anything else you want to say?
No, just have him get in touch with me once he touches base with his commanders and let me know if there's something we can do different.
I'm just going to run it by our legal advisor, so next week, if we have this problem, we know exactly.
Thank you, 120. Did you want that canine
Thank you,
version?
Rob. Appreciate you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, since we don't have information.
I gotta go help customers.
I'm going to give him this so that if it bolsters a federal case against him,
Possibly have idea who this
you know?
individual
Yeah.
is.
and obviously if we can take enforcement action, we will. I don't know that we're going to get there, because we would have gotten there last time with the last guy. You
Found it
know?
not too long ago where it was in statute about appointing authority for a government building. Can ask someone to leave and now I can't seem to find it. Next week. Yep, and that's the number? For
That's the case number, yeah.
Perfect.
LK for Lakewood, 23 for the year, 6901.
Let me sign a picture of that.
I just need to grab their info here for the writing it up.
Okay, I'll grab it for you. Can you serve? We can't kick this guy out. Can you just make it very apparent that he can't record any of the transaction stuff
Yeah,
within 12 feet?
I'll let him know.
And give him this. They're going to try to go through the Attorney General and charge him.
Perfect.
So,
If they can go through that, that's a good route.
We'll write it up and forward it to our legal advisor.
Okay.
But, I think we did that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And they kind of said, don't do anything unless there's any other
He said he's
ticky-tacky
taken
crime.
care of, so like I think as soon as we leave, he's gonna take off.
Okay.
But
Is he egging us or them on for a lawsuit?
he's only going after them. He's not going after us at all. He's mostly security. I think he's just looking for a payday for one of them.
Yeah, or us. That's kind of my hypothesis. Given this, so at least he's knowingly, and I'll get a copy of this for our report too.
Okay.
So at least, hey, here's the information. Just, we can't have you recording anything within 12 feet. I do feel for your customers. And if I were a customer sitting here with my daughter, I'd be pissed too. But unfortunately, I just know my limitations as a law enforcement officer, and I know what would land me in hot water.
All right, so let me jump in here for the last time and comment that I truly feel sympathetic towards the DMV here. Whereas I think we could all agree that the DMV of making that rule or policy, whatever you want to call it, of no recording within 12 feet of the counter was specifically for the protection of people, to protect people's personal information. And here we have Christopher telling the DMV as well as law enforcement that that shit don't apply to him, that he's going to continue to record at the counter. Nobody from and I kind of like the sergeant here. I do get the impression that the sergeant would love to have something to snatch up Christopher, but nobody's telling the Department of Motor Vehicles that, okay, if he breaks your policy, then you have the right to kick him out. Nobody has said that. So, is it possible that they cannot kick this individual out regardless that he's breaking policy? Come on now, I think we also have seen Reyes pull the same shit. Go into city halls and tell them your policies don't apply to me. And come on now, guys, come on. I think we are all well aware that these public locations, the rules, not just of no recording, but rules in general, are put out there for the safety of everybody. So that, just imagine if everybody could do whatever the hell they wanted. I would walk in there thinking that I can do this, and another person would walk in there and think they can do that, and it would clash with what I'm doing, and the next thing you know, we're going at it, okay? So I guess the reason of having rules is so that everybody's on the same page. And, you know, I could understand if we see something or if we find a particular rule that just seems to be just not copacetic, like as something that is taking advantage or violating somebody's rights, then you take it to the people, the higher ups, and you discuss it with them and you try to work something out. But damn it, I don't know about you guys, but the last thing I would be doing is telling the individuals that operate that location that screw your policy. I'm going to do what I want to do because the Constitution says I can do it. And I just don't see it. I don't see it that way. So I truly look forward to your input on this. And as I learned from a lot of you guys, I've oh my God, please, I've learned so much from you guys. It's amazing. Okay, not to blow sunshine up you guys' asses, but I truly have some smart people here. And again, we are all learning from each other on a daily. Okay, and I'm really looking forward to your input on this here, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the video, guys, and I will see you in my next video.
I'm gonna write this up anyway, just to protect him, because he's saying this guy's harassing him. That guy's harassing him. So I think I'm gonna write it up anyway, just so it's documented. That's true. I'm gonna see if he wants to give a phone number. Oh, yeah. Sorry if I did that. Chris? So I'm just documenting the report, just saying what we did, just to document what we did. Are you okay giving me a phone number so I can reach out to you? Or do you want to press charges for the harassment, if you're saying?
Yeah, I'd like to press charges for the harassment.
Do you mind if I grab your phone number? You said we already have your information. I can get it on my screen.
Yep.
So real quick. It's a good phone number for you.
Hold on, let me mute this because I got 600 people in here. I don't want them to be calling me.
You are honestly going to press harassment charges against the...
So
Is the address on your license, is that a good one for you?
Yes.
And do you know about what time you got here? I got to get your side of the statement, so can you just walk me through what happened?
I got here approximately 8:40.
Okay.
And I just came here to check in, and the security guard came up to me and said that I can't record at the counters. He mentioned his policy about recording 12 feet from the counter, which I'm very aware of. And I just tried to explain to him that that's a policy and not a law, and I'm not bound to that policy. And he followed me around the whole area here.
And played AC/DC on his phone.
Yeah, he was playing AC/DC on his phone, blaring as loud as it goes. So, but basically he just continued to follow me around. He took me up to counter 1 here. After he followed me around over there, and he tried to point to the law that you guys have there. It's a CRS 24-72-204, which actually has nothing to do with recording. It's a coral law. It has to do with inspections of public records. So I told him that's not a law in regards to what I'm doing here. So he continued to basically just follow me around and babysit me everywhere that I went, even though I told him that to leave me alone. Okay. So that's it. That was the entirety of it. So that is the harassment.
Okay.
Why would you press charges against
Why would he call the cops on him? Why would he call the cops on him?
He's trying to do his job, and obviously if that's
I just want to talk to you.